Hello everyone, welcome to Lightning Ball channel. In the story of Tensura, when Rimuru first met Chloe and later assisted her in summoning a spirit at the dwelling of spirits, he felt a powerful call from the storm dragon. This presence, which unsettled Veldora, was a crucial foreshadowing in the book and one of the most puzzling parts of the novel, the main character of the 2,000-year time loop, Chronoa. Figures like Miss Shizuozawa, Rimuru, and Storm Dragon Veldora are all tied to it. So, what exactly is this temporal loop? Why did Chronoa kiss Rimuru at the dwelling of spirits? In this episode, we'll delve into the climax of Tensura Volume 11, where Chloe tries countless times over 2 millennia time loop to save Rimuru and alter the fate of the Monster Federation. This tale might revolutionize your understanding of Tensura. Let's get started. Chloe Aubert, like Rimuru, is from another world. Her first arrival in this realm was actually 300 years ago, along with her childhood friend, Leon Cromwell, who is now one of the Octogram Demon Lords. Chloe lived with Leon in this world for a while before being summoned once again to Rimuru's era, along with kids like Kenya and Alice. This means Chloe underwent 2 temporal shifts. The Chloe we saw in the first season of the anime is the result of the second summoning. Of course, because of these events, Leon, still 300 years in the past, went mad. In an effort to retrieve Chloe, whom he deemed his beloved, he first became a chosen hero by the Light Spirit. Due to a series of mishaps, he fell and became a demon lord. To increase his chances of success, he made his imperfect summoning methods public, enticing people worldwide to join him in casting summoning spells, hoping to bring Chloe back. This process took a staggering 300 years, and during this period, Rimuru's destined individual, Miss Shizuozawa, was summoned by Leon about 70 years ago. Perhaps Leon couldn't have anticipated that the child he abandoned, Shizuozawa, was actually a key figure in the temporal loop and the pivotal character that led to Chloe meeting Rimuru. Shifting to Chloe's perspective, after her second temporal shift, she met Demon Lord Rimuru. To address the crisis caused by her excess magicules, she undertook a trial at the dwelling of spirits with Rimuru. The entity residing within Chloe wasn't merely a spirit, but her future self's power, a precursor to Chronoa. Please note, this power was unnamed at the time. This power has self-consciousness, which we'll explain later. For now, understand that Chloe, having unwittingly acquired this power, now had the ability to traverse time. However, she couldn't activate it at will and needed specific conditions for its awakening. So, what were these conditions? Let's continue. As we all know, in the current timeline, Rimuru was delayed by Chloe's whims on his return journey. Consequently, he was ambushed by Hinata, leading to a severe crisis for the Monster Federation. Several of Rimuru's subordinates, including Cheyenne, perished during the invasion by the Falmouth Kingdom. The devastated Rimuru, upon escaping from Hinata and returning to the Monster Federation, in his anguish, slaughtered 20,000 troops, awakening as a demon lord. This elevated the Monster Federation's status in this world, a story we've discussed in over 20 previous videos. However, in the original timeline, events didn't unfold this way. After the children were saved by acquiring spirits, Rimuru immediately teleported back to the Monster Federation. Due to the shift in time, he didn't encounter Hinata and, leading the monsters, decisively defeated the invading Falmouth forces. This showcased Rimuru's power and threat to neighboring nations. Although Hinata later led an attack on the Monster Federation, suspecting a potential conspiracy by some hidden groups and due to Rimuru's inherent kindness, she eventually befriended Rimuru. So, in the former timeline, Rimuru never became a demon lord and continued to lead the Great Jura Forest, living each day in peace. Yet, 5 years later, the fateful day arrived. The Eastern Empire launched an attack on the Jura Forest. The Empire's power was so immense that even the matured Chloe believed they had no chance of victory. By that time, Chloe had developed feelings for Rimuru and, acting on a whim, she begged him not to join the battlefront. Yet, Rimuru responded with a smile, promising Chloe he would return safely. Though he was fearful, Rimuru, attempting to exude confidence, handed Miss Shizu's mask to Chloe. The subsequent events might be predictable to some, Rimuru went to the decisive battle and didn't return. In anger and grief, his dear friend, Storm Dragon Veldora, went berserk. Both the Empire's army and the Monster Federation were annihilated. Following these events, in an effort to prevent Veldora from destroying the world, Luminous, Hinata, and Chloe challenged him. However, just as victory was within reach, a flash of light pierced Hinata's chest. Witnessing this, Chloe awakened and, with both her and the deceased Hinata's souls, traveled back 2,000 years in time. As previously mentioned, Chloe possessed the ability to traverse time, but she couldn't trigger it without the condition of Hinata's death being met. As Chloe traveled back 2,000 years, she was reunited with the past Chronoa. The power that resided in Chloe from this timeline, the predecessor of Chronoa, then transferred to Chloe in the next timeline within the dwelling of spirits. When Chloe finally awoke when she traveled back to 2,000 years ago, she remembered everything. She had been trapped in a time loop. In every timeline, no matter when or where she encountered Rimuru, she inevitably fell for the slime. To save Rimuru and the Monster Federation, Chloe, as the mightiest hero, took action in various parts of the world. But while different paths lead to different futures, the general direction of the future always seemed consistent. In the book, Chloe couldn't recall how many cycles she had endured. But in each timeline, the Monster Federation was repeatedly destroyed by the Eastern Empire. Each time, upon Hinata's death, Chloe's powers awakened, and she would time travel back to the past. However, after countless repetitions, a significant change occurred in the most recent timeline. Because she regained a fragment of her memories in the dwelling of spirits, Chloe managed to keep Rimuru by her side a bit longer, got the mask from Rimuru earlier, leading to Rimuru's awakening as a demon lord. Later, while aiding Luminous against the hero Granbell, Hinata sacrificed herself to save Chloe from Granbell's attack, dying prematurely. This meant that when Chloe time-jumped this time, Rimuru was still alive. With renewed hope, Chloe believed that if she could return to this timeline, she might achieve a desirable ending where everyone survives. Holding on to the mask, she quietly resolved herself. To clarify further, as mentioned earlier, Chloe had transported back with Hinata's soul, essentially sharing her body like dual personalities. Inside, Chloe and Hinata could communicate, making Chloe's repeated cycles less lonely. However, Hinata lacked the memories of the cycles because she didn't possess Chloe's time-traveling ability. She only learned about events involving her from Chloe. When Chloe last traveled back in time, her initial endeavor to reach a timeline where Rimuru hadn't died was to locate one of the very few acquaintances from that era, Luminous. 2,000 years ago, Luminous Castle, Night Rose Palace, was attacked by the storm dragon Veldora, leading to its overnight destruction. Chloe intended to use this information to communicate with Luminous. Given that she had gone through this many times, the execution wasn't challenging. She quickly gained Luminous' trust and informed Luminous of selected future events. First, her active role as a hero throughout these 2,000 years. Second, Rimuru going to the battlefield and never returning, leading to the rampage of the storm dragon. And third, Luminous becoming friends with Hinata, only for Hinata to be murdered. Of course, Chloe couldn't reveal all the details, like Granbell staging a coup. If Luminous found out, she would preemptively kill Granbell, preventing the event in the previous chapter where Granbell kills Hinata. Such an occurrence would prevent Chloe from returning to a timeline where Hinata dies but Rimuru hasn't yet. Much like before, Luminous easily believed Chloe, vowing to assist her fully and ensure the world recognized Chloe as a friend. When Luminous inquired about Chloe's future plans, she said she would continue, as she had in countless cycles, to act as a hero aiding those in distress. Hearing this genuine response, Luminous beamed. The karmic cycle of Chloe and Hinata intrigued Demon Lord Luminous. When asked how Chloe would introduce herself, both Chloe and Hinata hesitated. After all, the name Chloe couldn't be widely known, as the time-traveling Leon from the future would find it suspicious if he heard it. After some discussion, Hinata combined Chloe with the representative deity of the rare skill, time travel, Chronos, renaming her Chronoa. Thus, the name Chronoa was etched into the world's history for the first time. In the following time, Chloe and Hinata journeyed together, living up to her proclamation, actively participating in world events as a hero. As always, she obtained the unique skills, Absolute End and Infinity Prison, sealing the Tempest Dragon 300 years prior. Chloe's time was drawing to a close. As mentioned at the beginning, Chloe arrived in this world 300 years ago with Leon. If things continued, two different Chloes would coexist. The world's laws wouldn't permit such an anomaly. Consequently, hero Chloe would be forcibly subjected to a consciousness seal, causing the internal Chronoa to lose control. In her final moments, Chloe sought a solution from Luminous, the holy coffin, entirely made of spirit particles, capable of separating space and time, to be unsealed by Luminous at the right moment. Thus, Chloe's consciousness slumbered, leaving Hinata alone to navigate the hero's body. According to history, Hinata, controlling Chronoa's body, rescued Miss Shizu Izawa from Demon Lord Leon's castle, bestowing upon her the mask. While wishing to stay with Shizu, Chloe's slumber made it hard for Hinata to control Chronoa. Before her future self arrived in this world, Hinata, relying on luminous power, was sealed inside the holy coffin. Upon awakening next, her fate, life, or death would be in Rimuru's hands. Recalling the endearing slime, Hinata believed Rimuru could change everything, entering her dreams with a smile. Back to the present of current timeline, Yuki had shattered the holy coffin, leading to Chronoa's rampage. As Rimuru and Leon racked their brains for a solution, Luminous revealed to Rimuru the connection between Chronoa, Chloe, and Hinata. Chaos immediately ensued at the scene. One thing became clear: within Chronoa's body resided the souls of Chloe and Hinata. If those souls could be extracted, perhaps they could be resurrected. Diablo was the first to react. As a demon who had lived for tens of thousands of years, he knew techniques to interact with souls. The method involved making physical contact with the material body, invading with the spiritual body, and then connecting with the astral body. However, given Chronoa's unstable state, this approach was risky. Rimuru began contemplating a way to calm her mind. At that moment, Cherries, or Ifrit, who had arrived with Veldora and Rabirius, suggested to Rimuru to try that mask. After some reflection, Rimuru quickly had Leon and Veldora restrain Chronoa and placed a replicated mask onto her. Instantly, Rimuru's consciousness was plunged into darkness. When he awakened, he was inside Chronoa's mental world, where he found himself in his slime form, hopping forward. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed. Turning around, Rimuru was met with the sight of the deceased Shizu Izawa. Waves of nostalgia surged within him. As they journeyed together, they encountered a beautiful girl standing in their path, Chronoa. Her eyes radiated hatred, but there was no malice. The moment she saw Rimuru, she rushed and embraced him. Observing this scene, Shizu tenderly stroked Chronoa's head, creating a heartwarming ambience. After understanding Chronoa's situation, the main issue was rescuing Chloe and Hinata. According to Chronoa, because the same beings cannot exist simultaneously, Chloe wandered in her heart's infinity prison. Hinata, on the other hand, was deceased. Granbell's attack could shatter souls, and although Hinata's soul fragments were protected by Chronoa's unique skill, it was captured by the infinity prison too. Extracting Hinata's soul from there was challenging. Yet Rimuru, with the aid of Lord of Wisdom, could interfere with the infinity prison. By manipulating information particles, he nullified skills. Consequently, under the guidance of Lord of Wisdom, Chloe's power evolved into the ultimate skill, Lord of Space and Time, also known as Yog-Sothoth. Chronoa transformed into a form referred to as Manas, or spiritual life form. Naturally, Hinata's skills were retrieved. This marked the novel's first mention of Manas, also known as the Divine Wisdom Core. A touching reunion ensued between Chloe, Rimuru, Hinata, and Shizu. But happiness was fleeting. Shizu revealed her intent to leave since she was just a projection of nostalgia. She felt more content and, thanks to Rimuru settling old scores with Leon and understanding past misunderstandings, she felt at peace. Chloe and Hinata, wanting to retain Shizu, saw her contented smile and held back their words, nodding instead. Rimuru assured Hinata he would resurrect her, and with determination, he exited the inner world. Fast forwarding slightly, Luminous was overjoyed seeing Rimuru restrain Chronoa. In her understanding, events had unfolded as Chloe predicted. However, the betrayal by Granbell and Hinata's premature death made her anxious about Chloe's revival from the holy coffin. Still, upon seeing the mask, Luminous found solace. Of course, Luminous still had to face the challenge from Granbell. Granbell's eyes were filled with a dark, murky aura, the very essence of a will to destroy. If Granbell wished to annihilate the world, all he needed was to entrust the task to Chronoa, who was far more powerful than him. Just moments ago, Granbell roared in anger, as his companion in Sector Razzle had been killed by Cheyenne, leaving him with no way out. After a brief silence, Razzle's power merged with Granbell. Following this, Maria, Razzle, and Granbell's powers elevated within their souls, giving birth to hope. Then, Granbell's unique skill, Unyielding, evolved into the ultimate skill, Lord of Hope. Fueled by anger, Luminous' unique skill, Lust, also awakened as Lord of Lust. This was the decisive moment, cutting ties of causality to determine the victor. Granbell, standing still, launched an attack on Luminous, a direct confrontation between two ultimate skills, where the one with the strongest will would prevail. However, the battle ended in an instant, and it was Luminous who stood victorious. Granbell lay on the ground, blood dripping from his mouth, yet his face showed a calm resolve. Luminous stood silently, hearing Granbell's final words clearly. Granbell was taking a gamble. If awakening Chronoa failed, he'd rather have the hero meant to protect humanity destroy the world. Yet, Granbell wasn't expecting Chronoa to go berserk, but rather to facilitate her awakening and bring hope to humanity, since justice without power is meaningless in such a harsh world. Listening to Granbell, Luminous assured him she would protect the world as he rested. On his deathbed, Granbell wished to transfer his ultimate skill, Lord of Hope, to Chronoa. Luminous hesitated for a moment before agreeing, showcasing both her naivety and compassion. Thus, as Granbell grasped Luminous' hand, his body began deteriorating until he vanished from the world after his long fight for humanity. At that moment, Luminous heard Rimuru's voice, joyfully announcing the success of their mission, with only Hinata left to save. With the combined efforts of Luminous and Rimuru, Hinata's soul returned to her remains. First, her hair regained its shine, her cheeks flushed with color, her heart began to beat, and slowly, Hinata opened her eyes, resurrected. Chronoa, or Chloe, after the removal of Hinata's entity inside her mental world, radiated an unimaginable divine aura. The moment she opened her eyes, Chloe ran towards Rimuru. Her once womanly form started to revert to that of a child. Rimuru gently embraced her, marking a reunion after 2,000 years. Seeing this, Leon Cromwell seemed inexplicably angered, and Hinata's brows furrowed. The events that followed are a tale for another time, we will discuss in future episodes. Thus, the battle concluded. The content of this installment was complex with some unclear aspects, like the mask. This mask accompanied Chloe through countless time loops, being passed from Rimuru to Chloe, then from Chloe to Shizu, and finally back to Rimuru. Who created this mask? The book didn't provide an answer. It's worth noting that when Diablo encountered Shizu, he couldn't break the mask. Its time barrier existed longer than Diablo's lifespan, drawing Diablo's attention to Rimuru, who easily shattered and replicated the mask. This led some to believe that Rimuru's existence predates the mask, with theories suggesting Rimuru might be Veldanava reincarnation. More discussions on this theory will follow. Let's discuss Granbell. The author, in Granbell's final moments, attempted to redeem him, explaining his descent into madness due to the deaths of Maria and Mariabelle. Losing all hope, Granbell realized he couldn't protect humanity alone, and thus placed his hope in the legendary hero, Chloe. In the end, he evolved to acquire Lord of Hope, a narrative device ensuring Chloe would inherit this skill. Finally, let's touch upon Hinata. Inside Hinata was a hero's egg, yet it remained unhatched, preventing her from becoming a true hero. After Chloe absorbed Hinata, she took the hero's egg, meaning Chloe had two of them. Hinata will also have her hero's egg, to be discussed in future episodes. Returning to the novel, the day after the battle, under the endless sky and with the destroyed cathedral in the background, a musical concert proceeded. The melancholic and majestic tunes echoed, a requiem for those who entrusted their hopes to the future. Alright, that is all for this video. In the next episode, we'll finish some leftover details in Tensura Volume 11, discussing conversations between Diablo and Guy, and confrontations between the two primordial demons, Testarossa and Misery. Producing this episode was challenging due to its intricate content. I hope to have conveyed it clearly. I encourage active discussions in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one.